Many thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. Now, the first question you're probably thinking to yourself is whether or not this is available for both iPhone and Android, and the short answer is yes, and it's free on both as well. Now, this is not an app that's going to tell you what aperture to use or what the hyperfocal distance is for your situation, but it will tell you the most important aspect with regards to conditions. And from my experience of using this for, I think, over 7 years now, it's been by far the most accurate predicting tool for what matters most to landscape photographers. Now ask yourself this question: what's the most important quality or aspect of weather for outdoor photography? Is it temperature? Is it wind? Although both important, they're by far not the most crucial element. In this video, I'll review what I have found to be the best app for landscape photography, along with how you can get the most out of this 100% free tool, which in my opinion is one of the best things about it. Who doesn't like free stuff? So ask yourself this. Well, how do I state this? In my opinion, I feel that light is probably the best, or not the best, probably the most important quality to a great landscape photo. Good light can make anything look great, and good light can make something that looks great look even more incredible. So light is absolutely crucial. Now, obviously, we know that light comes from the sun, but there's another very important element between the earth and the sun, and that's the cloud. So if you think about this, if there's no clouds in the sky, what do you get? You get harsh light. You get, you direct sunlight, which isn't always a bad thing. It depends what you're photographing. If you get a partly cloudy sky, then you're going to get dappled clouds. You're going to get dappled light dancing across the landscape, which is absolutely incredible. Or let's say if you get a day that there's a 100% cloud cover, you get nice, soft, even light, which is fantastic for photographing waterfalls or rivers. You get, the clouds act as like a giant softbox in the sky. Plus, outside of what it does to impact light, clouds also add interest in the sky. How many times have you been to a location and you love everything about it? Beautiful composition, beautiful subject, but there's not a single cloud in the sky, and you're just sitting there and just like, man, this would be perfect with just a little bit of clouds in the sky. And then there's a whole nother element to this app that I think is probably the second most critical quality of a great landscape photo in certain situations that I'll go over in just a moment. But I really wanted to drive home the importance of clouds. Clouds dictate the type of light that you're going to get. Clouds also impact the interest in your sky. Like I just mentioned, no clouds, because a lot of times creates a very boring sky. If you get some nice, moody, ominous, stormy clouds, a lot of times that can completely change the overall mood and feeling of your photograph. So clouds are also imperative. And the most amazing part of all this is that's not even the main reason why clouds are so important. I shouldn't say the main reason. It's a huge component to it. But clouds also impact whether or not you're going to get a big sunrise or a big sunset. When I say big, I mean the big, explosive, colorful sunrises and sunsets. Without clouds, you're not going to get that. You're just going to get the big orange ball rising up above the horizon. If you get high clouds, a lot of times that's the type of clouds that catch sunlight as it's rising. So you get like the magentas and the reds and the oranges in the sky that creates those burning sunrises and sunsets that we all love so much. So hopefully that really drove home the importance of clouds within the world of landscape photography. Now there's a lot of different apps out there that measure different types of clouds, but this app here, let me start a screen recording on my phone so I can show you this. Let's pull it up here real quick. And the name of the app is Clear Outside. It's an app that I have spoken about. If you've been on any of my workshops or have photographed with me, or I've mentioned it everywhere all the time, I'm always mentioning the app Clear Outside. Not only because it's extremely easy to use, although what's interesting is lately I've noticed that a lot of people use this app, but they're not all using it to I should say, its maximum potential, which I'm going to show you exactly how you can get the most out of this app. But it is absolutely by far the most accurate cloud predicting tool that I have ever used. So if you pull up Clear Outside, this is your home screen right here. You can hit current location and it'll just use the GPS wherever you happen to be. You can hit locations and save some locations here, but let's just hit current location where I'm at right now. Now, as you can see, as I scroll through this, there's quite a bit of information right here. I do not use probably 50% of the stuff that's on the screen. There's two things that I am super, super interested in. I haven't gotten to the second one yet, but the first one is the clouds. So if you see this right here, so let's go over here. It is Sunday as I am filming this video. And as you can see up here in the upper left-hand corner, this is your time. You can see the sun's rising between 0600 and 0700, basically 6:30 a.m. And you can see that it says total cloud right there, that very first row, and it is all white. This is something that a lot of people get wrong with this app. That basically the white boxes, and you can see that there's some blue boxes down here. That's basically like a transparency. So the more white those boxes are, the cloudier it is. The more blue those boxes are, the less cloudy it is. So it's like a transparent filter. As you can see, like right here, you can see that there's different shades of blue boxes and there's different shades of the white boxes. So when it says total clouds 100, that basically means that 100% of the sky is going to be obscured by clouds. And then to take it further, you can see it breaks it down into low clouds, medium clouds, and high clouds. So at 0900, 9 a.m. right here, you can see it says high clouds 4, and that box is basically almost completely blue. What that is saying is that only 4% of the sky is going to be obscured by high clouds. At that same time, 91% of the sky is going to be obscured by medium clouds. That's why that box is white. And then low clouds, 47% of the sky is going to be obscured by low clouds. And you can see how that box is kind of like in between white and blue. So that's what those boxes mean, the transparency of those boxes, the colors, along with the values of those boxes as well. So it's the percent of the sky that is obscured by that, whether it's the total clouds, the low clouds, the medium clouds, or the high clouds. It's very, very important. Now, what's really, really cool, let me go back over here, is that I mentioned this a moment ago. There's a lot of different clouds that are, I shouldn't say a lot of different clouds. Low clouds, generally speaking, are not the best clouds for getting incredible sunrises or sunsets. A lot of times, those low clouds will kind of snuff out the sun as it's breaking the horizon. You really want medium clouds or high clouds. High clouds are definitely the best. Those are the real light wispy clouds, super high in the atmosphere. As the sun is rising, it catches color, or it pushes color up on those clouds. I said that a little weird. I think the best way to say it is those clouds catch the light best, the high clouds. And using the Clear Outside app right here, you can see that it's got an entire area dedicated to high clouds. So for instance, let's find a scenario here where there could be a good sunrise or sunset. And if you look at the little orange dashes up here at sunlight, that's going to indicate that is the sunrise. This is going to indicate the sunset. So that's Tuesday, over here Wednesday. My area is not going to have a good sunrise or sunset for a while now. Okay, here's a good scenario. So Friday morning at about 6:30 a.m., you can see that around 6 a.m., 50% of the sky is going to be obscured by high clouds. And then at 7 a.m., 34% of the sky is going to be obscured by high clouds. No low clouds and very little medium clouds. That right there is a pretty good scenario of a good sunrise, a very colorful sunrise. So that'll be interesting to see if that comes to fruition on Friday. Same thing on Friday evening as well. You can see that there are a little bit of, looks like 24% of the sky will be obscured by medium clouds. 46 to 30% of the sky will be obscured by high clouds around that sunset time. So once again, that right there could be another very good sunset in my area, and no low clouds at all. So this right here, this tool is amazing. Absolutely incredible. I cannot overstate how helpful this app is. I use this almost every single time. Now, if you ask yourself, what about, Mark, if you're going into a woodland area and you don't really care about sunrises or sunsets, or I shouldn't say sunrises or sunsets, the cloud cover. Well, even in a woodland area, I really do care about the clouds. I don't really pay too much attention to whether or not there'll be a huge burning sunrise or sunset if I'm going to a woodland area to photograph, waterfalls or fall color. But what I am super interested in is how much light is going to be in that woodland area. Is there going to be no clouds in the sky? If that's the case, it might not be the best scenario. You'll probably get some pretty harsh light unless you're there in the golden hours early in the morning or later in the evening. But there is another element to this. So if you ask yourself this, what is another weather condition that is super important to outdoor photography? That has nothing to do with light. It doesn't have anything to do with clouds or rain or wind or anything like that. And in my personal opinion, sure you get a different answer depending on who you ask, but I think fog is another incredible quality to landscape photography, because fog, it has a way of simplifying a scene, mainly because it makes everything in the background a little bit softer, or sometimes you can't even completely see what's in the background. So that right there just simplifies the scene. There's not as much chaos happening in the background of your photograph, plus it creates a little bit of mood. Now, anyone who has used apps for predicting weather probably knows that fog is probably the one thing that is the least accurate. Now, there is a recipe here in the Clear Outside app that I have found to be the best predictor of fog that I have ever seen. So if you come over here, what's interesting is that it does have a fog line item right here, as you can see, as I'm kind of swinging this back and forth. I never use that, But what I do use is I'll go down here to the bottom here, and I look at the temperature. And that's something I should bring up. The temperature is in Celsius. Sometimes, if you use Fahrenheit, that might be a little bit confusing. I'm kind of used to using both, so it's not a big issue to me. But you can see that it's got the temperature, which isn't super unusual. Every weather app out there tells you the temperature at a given time. But it also has the dew point right here as well. And when that temperature and that dew point are within maybe 2 or 3 points of one another, that is a very good indicator that there could be fog in your area at that specific time. And if the temperature and the dew point are the exact same value, the exact same number, that is fantastic. That's a well, I mean, I don't want to say it's 100% guarantee, but it's a very high likelihood that you are going to get fog. And this dew point reading in the Clear Outside app is extremely, extremely accurate. And I have found this to be true so often. So if I'm going out to do really any kind of photography, the very first thing I want to know is how much cloud cover is going to be around. And then I will almost always scroll down here to the bottom of the app just to see, is that temperature and that dew point value anywhere near each other? And if it is, then that a lot of times could determine exactly where I go, because if I see that there is a ton of fog that's going to be in a certain woodland area, I will probably go there. Fog is amazing, and you don't always get it. It's kind of rare depending on where you live. I know where I live, we don't get fog too terribly often, but when I see that dew point and that temperature get really, really close to one another, I get pretty excited and I want to get out there to photograph it. Excuse me. So that is a tip that I share, that the whole dew point correlation with temperature with a lot of people, and they seem to love it, and they seem to be surprised by how accurate it works on this Clear Outside app. So I wanted to make sure I share that with you as well. So this is definitely one of those things that you 100% get your value for what you spent on it, because ironically, this costs nothing. This is a 100% free app on iPhone, on Android. I am not sponsored by Clear Outside or anything like that. They don't even know who I am. I've never spoken to anyone over there. I am just a believer in this app. And I wanted to make sure I share it with you all today, because it's a question that I get asked quite often, is what apps do I use for landscape photography? And this is really it. I don't use the hyperfocal distance, camera setting type things that tell you the shutter speed you should be using or the aperture you should be using for a given scenario. It's not something that is super important to me. I like to just figure those kind of camera settings out on my own on location. It's part of the process that I actually enjoy. But the Clear Outside app is absolutely worth its weight in gold. And hopefully you'll check it out. Like I said, 100% free. What can you lose? So before I do wrap things up here, I do just want to say a big thanks to the sponsor of this week's video, which is Squarespace, who I use for all of my website and e-commerce needs. Squarespace provides a robust and beautiful online platform to develop your website. You can showcase your photography using Squarespace's design intelligence, combining 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology to unlock your strongest creative potential. And with Squarespace's online store feature, you'll have access to all the tools you need to start selling your physical, digital, or service products online immediately. You can even use Squarespace payments to easily get started in just a few clicks and start receiving payments right away by providing your customers more ways to pay with many of the most popular payment methods available today. So if you're looking to start a new website or possibly upgrade your current website, check out squarespace.com/Mark Denney for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. So if you have any questions about Clear Outside or how I use it or anything related to the weather or anything like that, please leave those in the comments section below, and I will do my best to get back in touch with you as soon as humanly possible. And you might have noticed my camera case on my phone is absolutely I get so many people that comment on this and are like, Mark, why don't you get a new case? Well, this is a iPhone 12 Max, I think. I'm a few generations behind, and I don't want to invest in another phone case because I need to get a new phone too. So I don't know why I mentioned that, but it seems to be a topic that a lot of people bring up, is how in poor shape, I should say, my phone case is in. So anyway, I digress. If you did enjoy this week's video, if you could, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And as always, I really do appreciate you carving out a little bit of time to spend it with me here today, and I will see you all next Wednesday.